Hello everyone, it's Harmony, and welcome to the visual dungeon guide for the Clyteum. This dungeon will become available during the level 100 main scenario quest called Two Worlds Entwined. The first boss is the Eye of the Scorpion. Eyes on Me is a group-wide attack that deals unavoidable damage to all party members. The area will now become sealed off and the boss will place corrupted ether around the outer edges of the battlefield. If you make contact with this ether, it will inflict you with a powerful damage over time debuff for a short time. The boss will move to the central northern edge of the battlefield before casting Petrifying Beam, a massive frontal cone-shaped area of effect that will petrify anyone it hits. To avoid this, position yourself directly in front of the boss. When it begins to turn to its left or right, you'll have a very small window to move out of the beam as the telegraphed area appears quickly. This can be tricky at first, but with a little practice it becomes much easier. Motion Scanner will trigger an unavoidable scan that sweeps across the entire battlefield. You must stop all movement and actions until this scanner has passed over you. If you move or attack while inside the scan, you will take damage and be knocked into the air. Penetrator Missile will target one random player with a stack marker. The party will need to group up and stand together to share the incoming damage. Surface Missile will target multiple random locations around the battlefield with circular area of effects, which will detonate in the order they appear. To avoid these, simply step out of the marked telegraphed areas. Anti-Personnel Missile will target all players with a circular area of effect for unavoidable damage, spread out to prevent overlapping damage from one another. These mechanics will now repeat until the boss has been defeated. The second boss is Chort. Ripples of Gloom is a group-wide attack that deals unavoidable damage to all party members. The area will now become sealed off and the boss will place a ring of corrupted ether around the outer edge of the battlefield. If you make contact with this ether, it will inflict you with a powerful damage over time debuff for a short time. Mortifying Flesh will cause the boss to unleash a frontal linear area of effect. To avoid this, make sure you are not standing directly in front of the boss. The boss will then spin to a random point along the outer edge of the battlefield and repeat the attack a second time. Just like before, ensure you are not positioned directly in front of the boss. The boss will then use bodyweight exorcism, dealing unavoidable damage to all party members, while also knocking them back. You will want to move as close to the centre of the battlefield as possible to avoid being pushed into the dangerous ether ring. The boss will now teleport to the centre of the battlefield and face a random player before using Basic Vomit, a frontal cone-shaped area of effect. To avoid this, simply step out of the marked telegraphed area. The boss will begin conjuring 4 towers in succession and will use bodyweight exorcism on each one in the order they appear. The group must stack on these markers to share the incoming damage and prevent the towers from exploding. If a tower explodes, it will deal massive damage to all party members. Evil Emission will target all players with a circular area of effect for unavoidable damage, spread out to prevent overlapping damage from one another. Profane Pressure will target one random player with a stack marker. The party will need to group up and stand together to share the incoming damage. These mechanics will now repeat until the boss has been defeated. The third boss is Malphas. Rubbish Disposal is a group-wide attack that deals unavoidable damage to all party members. The area will now become sealed off and the boss will place a ring of corrupted ether around the outer edge of the battlefield. If you make contact with this ether, it will inflict you with a powerful damage over time debuff for a short time. The boss will then turn to face a random direction before casting Void Dark, cleaving the entire area in front of it. To avoid this, you must quickly move behind the boss. The boss will then teleport to the centre of the battlefield before casting Scrap Metal. This creates multiple linear area of effects. To avoid them, simply step out of the telegraphed areas. Scrap Metal will also leave behind small and large piles of scrap metal, which will interact with the boss's other attacks. Puppet Strings will control all small piles of scrap on the battlefield, causing each one to unleash a circular area of effect centered on itself. To avoid taking damage, stay clear of the small scrap. Puppet Strings can also control the large piles of scrap, causing them to unleash a frontal cone-shaped area of effect. To avoid taking damage, make sure you are not standing in front of the large scrap. Gluttonous Wire will target one random player with a stack marker. The party will need to group up and stand together to share the incoming damage. Rubbish Disposal remains a group-wide attack that deals unavoidable damage to all party members. It will now, however, remove any scrap from the battlefield when used. Puppet Pair will cause all scrap on the battlefield to attack. You will need to avoid standing in front of the large scrap while also staying away from any smaller ones. You can make this easier by positioning yourself near a large scrap pile. When the boss uses String Up, you must keep moving until the marker above your head disappears. If you are standing still when the timer runs out, you will lose control of your character and will begin attacking your own party members for a short time. Shadow Play is a tank buster that deals heavy damage to the target. Use defensive cooldowns and shields to mitigate it. This will also damage any players standing too close to the initial target, so keep your distance. Puppet Mastery will lift all scrap on the field, causing it to float and move around the battlefield before it settles and unleashes its attacks. You can easily avoid this by staying positioned between the two large scrap piles. Wrathful Wire will target all players with a circular area of effect for unavoidable damage, spread out to prevent overlapping damage from one another. These mechanics will now repeat until the boss has been defeated. Thank you for watching. If you found this guide helpful, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and, most importantly, take care of yourself and each other.